Have you ever felt a pang of shame for the work you do, even when it puts food on the table? Have you ever found yourself hesitating to tell someone what your job is, worried about their judgment, their silent condescension, their unspoken belief that you could be doing something better? It's a strange and heavy burden to carry, this feeling that the very act of earning an honest living could somehow be a source of embarrassment. Why do we let the opinions of others dictate the pride we take in our own hard work? Why do we allow ourselves to feel small for building our own lives, one paycheck at a time? This is a question that once haunted me, a shadow that followed me through long days and even longer nights. Until I realized a fundamental truth: the only shame lies in not trying, not in the sweat on your brow. I remember a time when my world felt like it was closing in on me. The dreams I had nurtured in my youth, those grand visions of a corner office and a fancy title, had evaporated like morning mist, leaving behind the harsh reality of bills, responsibilities, and a gnawing emptiness in my bank account. I found myself taking on jobs that my younger, more idealistic self would have scoffed at. I delivered packages late into the night, my car filled with the smell of cardboard and haste. I cleaned offices after everyone else had gone home, the silence broken only by the hum of the vacuum and the echo of my own thoughts. I served coffee at the crack of dawn, forcing a smile for customers who barely saw me, who saw only a pair of hands to pass them their morning caffeine. In those moments, I felt the weight of unspoken judgment from all sides. Friends from college would ask what I was really doing with my life, their questions laced with a subtle, yet stinging pity. I would see old acquaintances on the street and instinctively look away, hoping they wouldn't recognize me in my work uniform. The shame was a constant companion, whispering insidious lies in my ear. It told me I was a failure. It told me I had settled. It told me I was less than. And the most isolating part of it all, no one else seemed to understand. When I would tentatively voice my frustrations, my feelings of inadequacy, I was met with well-meaning but ultimately hollow platitudes. Just keep your head up, they'd say. Something better will come along, but they weren't the ones living my reality. No one was there to offer a loan when my rent was due. No one stepped in to cover my car payment when it was late. No one paid for the groceries that I carefully calculated at the checkout line, my heart pounding with the fear that the total would exceed the meager amount I had. The support for my dreams had dwindled to nothing, but the demand for my financial obligations remained relentlessly high. It was a stark and brutal education in self-reliance. I learned the hard way that inspiration doesn't pay the electricity bill and encouragement doesn't fix a broken-down car. Only cold, hard cash can do that. And that cash had to be earned. It was during this crucible of necessity that my perspective began to shift, slowly and painfully at first, then with a surge of liberating clarity. I looked at my hands, calloused and tired from a long day's work. I thought about the money I had just deposited into my account, money that wasn't a gift, not a loan, but the direct result of my own labor, my own time, my own sweat. Every job, I realized, has its own inherent value and dignity. The world cannot function without the people who deliver its goods, who clean its spaces, who serve its citizens. The economy isn't just a collection of CEOs and entrepreneurs. It's a vast, interconnected ecosystem of truck drivers, cashiers, janitors, and countless other roles that are often overlooked but are fundamentally essential. The money I was earning was clean. It was honest. It was a testament to my resilience and my refusal to give up. So why on earth should I be ashamed of it? Why should I allow the arbitrary social hierarchy, the snobbery of others who had never walked a mile in my worn-out shoes, to make me feel embarrassed about my survival? If a job allows me to stand on my own 2 feet, to provide for myself, to maintain my independence, then it is a job worthy of respect. The shame, I began to understand, belonged to those who would look down on honest work, not to those who performed it. This newfound conviction was tested every time I left my apartment. The world has a cruel way of reminding you of what you don't have. I remember one particular afternoon walking through the city center. The sun was bright and the storefronts gleamed, displaying beautiful clothes. The latest gadgets and enticing advertisements for vacations to exotic places. I saw a coat in a window, a simple, well-made wool coat that would have been perfect for the coming winter. I paused, imagining how warm it would feel, how confident I might look wearing it. I instinctively reached for my wallet, and then the familiar cold dread washed over me. I knew without even looking that I couldn't afford it. It wasn't just a matter of being a little short. It was a matter of it being completely and utterly out of reach. Buying that coat would mean not paying my phone bill or skimping on groceries for 2 weeks. As I stood there, other shoppers bustled past me, their arms laden with bags, their laughter echoing in the air. In that moment, the feeling of humiliation was so intense it was almost physical. It was a stark, public declaration of my financial inadequacy. It wasn't about materialism or wanting a luxury item, it was about the feeling of being on the outside looking in, of being denied a basic level of comfort and participation in the world around me. Going out without money, truly without a safety net, is not just an inconvenience. It's a constant source of anxiety. It's having to say no, not just to wants, but sometimes to needs. It's the embarrassment of your card being declined for a small purchase. It's the quiet panic of calculating every single dollar, hoping you haven't made a mistake. That feeling of wanting something, anything, and knowing you simply cannot have it because of a number in your bank account is a unique and profound form of humiliation. It's a silent suffering that chips away at your self-worth. But the true heart-wrenching cost of financial struggle became terrifyingly clear when it was no longer just about me. I received a phone call one evening that every child dreads. My mother, my rock, and my lifelong champion was sick. The details were a blur of medical jargon and hushed, worried tones from my father. What was crystal clear, however, was the bottom line. She needed a specific treatment, a series of procedures that weren't fully covered by their modest insurance plan. The gap was a figure that seemed astronomical, impossible. Suddenly, my own personal struggles, my shame over my job, my humiliation over not being able to afford a new coat, all seemed laughably trivial. This was real suffering. Da, 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 da. This was a crisis where money was not an abstract concept of status or comfort, but the tangible difference between hope and despair. The helplessness I felt in that moment was a physical ache, a crushing weight on my chest that made it hard to breathe. I looked at my small savings, the result of months of grueling work and frugal living, and it was a pittance compared to what was needed. My parents, proud people who had worked hard their entire lives, were faced with the devastating choice of draining their retirement savings or forgoing the best possible care for my mom. That is when you truly suffer. It's not when you can't buy a new gadget. It's when you can't afford medicine for someone you love. It's when a medical emergency becomes a financial catastrophe. It's the gut-wrenching pain of knowing that the health and well-being of your family is dependent on a sum of money you simply do not have. That night I made a vow. I would never again feel ashamed of any job that allowed me to earn money. I would work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever it took. The judgment of others became meaningless static. All that mattered was being able to answer the call when my family needed me. From that day forward, something inside me broke free. The shame was replaced by a ferocious, unyielding drive. I picked up more shifts. I sought out side hustles. I stopped seeing my work as a source of embarrassment and started seeing it as my arsenal, my tool for fighting back against the powerlessness I had felt. I was no longer just a delivery driver. I was a provider. I was no longer just a cleaner. I was building a foundation of security. The journey was far from easy. It was exhausting, lonely, and demanded sacrifices I never thought I could make. But with every dollar I earned, I felt a piece of my dignity being restored. Not the false dignity of a prestigious title, but the real, unshakable dignity of a person who meets their obligations, who shows up, who does the work, and who can look themselves in the mirror and know they are doing everything in their power to protect the people they love. Slowly but surely, we gathered the funds. My contribution, combined with my family's resources and the kindness of others, was enough. My mother got the treatment she needed. Today my life is different. I've been able to leverage that relentless work ethic into new opportunities. But I have never, ever forgotten the lessons learned in those difficult years. I have never forgotten the sting of humiliation or the terror of helplessness. And I have never forgotten the profound sense of pride that comes from earning an honest dollar. So if you are out there right now, working a job that doesn't impress your friends, a job that makes you feel invisible, a job that leaves you tired and sore at the end of the day, I want you to listen to me. There is no shame in your struggle. There's no shame in your hustle. Every hour you work, every task you complete, is a step towards your own independence and a testament to your strength. The money you earn through your own effort and sweat is a badge of honor. It is your shield against the humiliation of wanting, your weapon against the suffering of need. Never, ever let anyone make you feel ashamed of building a life for yourself. Your journey is your own, and the dignity you earn along the way is something no one can ever take from you.